Hello everyone, this is Crota coming at you. Today is, well, February 24th, and this is going to be a 2v2 matchup between Rich and StarShaped against Report and Armin. We see War Chief Rich spawning as the yellow Night Elf player here, and as I say this, I remember I always like team colors just because it is that much easier to figure out what's going on. War Chief Rich and StarShaped, both of them are going to be the yellow players, the Night Elf players. Meanwhile, down over here, we have a pink Night Elf and a green undead. Let's go ahead and turn the ally colors one more time, so I believe it's going to be all pink and all yellow. Yes, it will be a little bit more difficult to figure out which units are StarShaped and which units are War Chief Rich, but it's a little bit easier overall. Now, this is going to be game one here on Goldshire, and I am casting a 2v2 just because I enjoy playing 2v2s. I'm actually a WarCraft 3 random team player, like many of you guys out there enjoy playing it, as we are now looking at what is going to be this. This is actually interesting. Report my ally, please, or Report playing with a Priestess of the Moon first. Now, the Priestess of the Moon opening with a Death Knight, extremely powerful, because you will most likely be seeing Crypt Fiends. Crypt Fiends, very powerful, especially with that True Shot aura coming in from the opponent. Now, War Chief Rich is also doing the same thing as well. We are going to see a Potom and a Keeper of the Grove, two heroes that you don't normally see together. And this is going to be rather interesting. Trying to see Keeper of the Grove who can easily shut down those 3 supply units, or those 3 food units, for quite a while, allowing units to just surround them and take them out. You also see a Tree of Life being placed down by War Chief Rich here. He's going to be trying to expand into this location, even though that is quite a long walk. Not quite sure why he is placing a Tree of Life there. That is actually a rather odd location, as we're going to see the Wisp now try to get taken out. Yes, there it is. Yeah, not sure if it's a good idea or not either, as we're now looking at 2 yellows versus 1 pink. The pink looks like he went for Searing Arrows first. You don't see True Shot aura as of yet. Well, there is the True Shot aura, now dealing 24 to 34 damage per attack, and we are now looking at the Death Knight. The Death Knight is going to be suffering a little bit of damage here. Where is the entangle onto that Crypt Fiend? No, the Crypt Fiend did not get entangled yet, as the Priestess of the Moon now getting in some shots here. Now, the only problem is that the Keeper of the Grove also gets some additional damage as well from the True Shot aura of the Priestess of the Moon. Meanwhile, the Death Knight doesn't really do much. He can heal his own units, but he can't do anything else. And Armin, you is bad. Apparently, the Death Knight trying to go after the Crypt Fiends, unable to do so, as we're now looking at the Priestess of the Moon wandering around back over here. Alright, the Crypt Fiends are taking a little bit of damage, but not really much, as we can see that the Crypt Fiends are doing a good job creeping out the other side of the map. The Keeper of the Grove could easily come in, though, and get off an entangle. I haven't seen this Keeper of the Grove do very much, but this hero harassment is actually fairly effective, as you now see the Priestess of the Moon now coming in here. Oh, is that shot? Yes, the Priestess of the Moon does get a little bit more damage. Meanwhile, the Priestess of the Moon really should be getting more damage onto perhaps the other Priestess of the Moon, trying to stop all of this harassment. The Death Knight now doing a little bit of chase over, but the Rogue Wizards are pretty much, not out of mana. I thought they would be low on mana by this point. Not quite yet. The Death Knight could easily heal up the Crypt Fiends in just a moment's notice, and we should be seeing exactly that. All we're looking right now is that Armin is purposely trying to go after the creep camps. Meanwhile, the Priestess of the Moon is getting up those Huntresses, and as long as Report my ally, please, or Report is able to get up to level 2, he should actually start to come out ahead. The reason for that is the Searing Arrows, but that Priestess of the Moon is still sitting at level 1. Meanwhile, the Death Knight is still creeping away, and what exactly is his partner doing? Not really doing much of anything here. As you see, there is that Keeper of the Grove entangle that I mentioned at the start of this game. You can see that the Keeper of the Grove is going to get off a very easy kill onto that Crypt Fiend, but the Huntresses are now going after the other units. Alright, the Keeper of the Grove trying to get away. Oh, we almost had a surround onto the Keeper of the Grove here, and the Keeper of the Grove still dancing back and forth. There's a Skeletal Minion there as well. The Skeletal Minion gets 1 hit, but not very much of anything. So far, the pink team does not seem to be very coordinated. They may be high They may be better than your average player, but they don't seem to be doing very much. All right, report my ally, please. Now trying to hold on to this one particular tree of life, not allow a cancellation there, but it looks like all of the units are just going to easily take down this tree of life. The Crypt Fiends are coming in, though, and the Crypt Fiends could easily get off an easy shot there. Are we going to see a cancellation? Oh, yes, there is a cancellation. There is the Dust of Appearance, and this one Huntress is going to get taken down very, very easily. Oh, the Crypt Fiends, there it goes. There goes that poor Huntress down there, but that was a little bit too late, as the Priestess of the Moon still only on the board with 30 experience. The Death Knight, however, up to level 2, may get to level 3 off of this creep camp, and this may be all part of the strategy. The Priestess of the Moon doesn't really need that much experience in order to really start getting the rest of the army stronger. Meanwhile, the Death Knight is able to get level 2 Death Coil. That means that the Crypt Fiends are going to be very, very powerful. All right. So far, we are going after all of these creep camps here. The Null Warden is going to get taken down. Meanwhile, the Keeper of the Grove still sitting at level 1. You can see there's a Wisp off over here. It should just detonate. I'm not sure why. There's the detonation. Meanwhile, back over here, the Priestess of the Moon did get to level 2 and also has a Wand of Mana Stealing, as the Tree of Life is now entangling the Gold Mine. War Chief Rich, a little bit of a very, very aggressive play here, as War Chief Rich goes for an Owl Scout instead. That Owl Scout, very good at being an owl, looking around, able to keep track of the entire army, as you see so many Huntresses working all together. All right, those Huntresses being led by the Priestess of the Moon and also that Keeper of the Grove. We are looking at the Huntresses just now splitting up into different directions. The Huntresses are very strong just because they are not pure melee. The fact that they have a little bit of range means that they are better at surrounding units here. The Crypt Fiends should have better piercing damage, though. The Priestess of the Moon still sitting at level 1. But the Death Knight is sitting at level 3, meaning that any sort of focus fire onto the Crypt Fiends, which are the majority of the damage against that Huntress, is not going to amount to very much, since the Death Coil does heal exactly 400 points of damage. Now, are we going to see the Death Knight now make its way in here? You see a little bit of a split between the Keeper of the Grove and the Priestess of the Moon. Both sides are purposely trying to creep out their sides of the map here. Are we going to see a Tree of Life? Yes, Tree of Life is going to be coming into play. And now this may be a 2-on-1 creep jack here. StarShaped is going to be in a little bit of trouble. As you can see, level 2 finally on the Keeper of the Grove. Is he going to pick up? Yes, picks up a Scroll of Healing, as the Huntresses are now coming in. The Keeper of the Grove needs to back off here. How much damage can be dealt? It looks like StarShaped is purposely running away with his lower hit point Huntress, and does exactly that. Now the Crypt Fiends and the Huntress may try to come down here to the red creep camp. They need to catch up in terms of experience, and the Huntresses are not in the front. What exactly is going on here? All of a sudden, Pink is just not working together. The Huntress is now trying to flank around the far side, going after that Ogre Lord. It looks like it will get taken down. The Death Knight gets a Crystal Orb, or Crystal Ball, so that is pretty much going to be a lot of revealing. Dust of Appearance, pretty much free charges, going to constantly reveal all of those units here as we're looking at the rest of the units getting taken down. Death Knight sitting at level 3, as I mentioned earlier. Priestess of the Moon still sitting at level 1, as we're looking at an Owl Scout once again flying around the map. It looks as this creep camp is not going to get crept out, but we also saw that the yellow team is now going to be coming in from the north and is going to just straight up drop inside the base. All right, Pink's base is pretty much ripe for the picking. As you can see, this drop inside this base here, there you go. And this is just going to tear apart this base here. What a just nasty move. Do we see an Entangle? If you see an Entangle, though, that could turn things around. The Goblin Zeppelin is picking up units. The Haunted Gold Mine now down to 200 some odd hit points, 170, and this is just constantly falling. It looks like it is trying to be repaired, and it is not going to get repaired in time, as there's a Scroll of Town portal for the Priestess of the Moon, teleporting the units all the way back home. All right, so bad. Such a bad play there. A little bit of applause from the viewers, as we're looking at a Goblin Shredder now being picked up from the Pink Night Elf player. Pink Night Elf sitting at 52 over 60 must have given a lot of gold over to... No, not... Normally, the strategy for Undead Night Elf is that you mass Huntress and you only stay at tier 1. We are at Tree of Life, but you should be funneling gold into your Night Elf player who is actually higher up. He is at Halls of the Dead. And we're looking at perhaps the Priestess of the Moon trying to get higher up still. Still looking at level 2. A Fallen Priest will get taken down there. And pretty much all of the creep camps are have been crept out already. Now the yellow Night Elf player, who is currently okay, he is going to find that a Goblin Zeppelin will be going ahead and land on his gold mine. And all of a sudden, he's not going to be able to do any sort of harassment. Oh wait, the Goblin Zeppelin is a little bit of a red herring there, purposely calling this army all the way back. Do we see perhaps in a web or in snare or web being teched? I don't see it at all, as we can now see that this Goblin Zeppelin is just doing straight up scouting. The Goblin Zeppelin has nothing in it. Meanwhile, down over here, the Priestess of the Moon now gets up to level 4. Level 4 Priestess of the Moon with a level 3 Keeper of the Grove. A very nasty 1-2 punch as the Goblin Zeppelin flies overhead and still has nothing inside it. So far, we're going to be seeing this Rogue Wizard getting taken out. Death Knight now sitting at level 4. Is it going to be getting to level 5? I don't think so. If that was a Tome of Experience, it would have been level 5. But no, he's just going to be slightly shy. Shy by 27 experience. As all the creep camps on the map, save for a yellow one here, which is already being creeped out, and these 2 green creep camps in the center, not many places to try and level up any further. All right, a yellow army, StarShaped, just pretty much sitting in the center portion of the map during nightfall or artificial night, as we're looking at the Priestess of the Moon looking to posture himself for a better position. Now, the Goblin Shredder is low on hit points. You do not want to go into a battle with a low hit point Goblin Shredder at all. It is a very, very expensive unit, as we're looking at 77/80 supply by War Chief Rich. Meanwhile, StarShaped is sitting at 60/60. We're sitting at 49/60 for the Undead player and 57/60 for the Night Elf player of Pink. And this is just a massive army of Huntresses and Archers with no AoE to really challenge them. That is going to be a problem. All right, in comes this army, an army of Trents, an army of Priestess, army of Huntresses, a Priestess of the Moon, and a Keeper of the Grove, now all working together. And what are we seeing now? Are we going to perhaps pick up and drop off some units? We are looking for a fight here. No Moonwells, and this is just a perfect position for all of these units. And what an epic fight here. There you go. Scroll of Town Portal trying to get out. Well, perhaps Pink needs to use the Scroll of Town Portal as well. Doesn't get the message. Oh, Scrolls of Town Portal behind the Tree of Life so that it is a little bit better protected. And you are looking at a Scroll of Protection doing a great job. Lightning Shield is actually dealing a little bit of damage to all the units around it here. And what is still happening? So much damage. All the Crypt Fiends trying to fight back here. The Death Knight sitting at level 4. The Priestess of the Moon now sitting at level 5. And so far, this is looking like a one-way battle. The Archers in the back dealing so much damage. The Huntresses in the front for Pink have been long gone. The Death Knight needs to get off a Death Coil onto the Lich. Does not do so without enough mana at all. And all of a sudden, all the things are just trying to back off here. And there is the GG. Massive reveals coming underway. And that was just a bit of just unsportsmanlike conduct, spamming a whole bunch of reveal on top of the army. War Chief Rich having more than enough gold to really just waste some of his gold onto that army, or onto the location, saying, you know what, I have enough gold that I can spam here and still have plenty of time to destroy your army. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 1. Please stay tuned for Game 2.